snowstorm in Spokane, and we played Portland State, Novi game. So Portland, the canceled flight. They bust to Spokane, showed up 40 minutes before the game. It's my birthday, right? And Gonzaga should beat Portland State at home. We lost. And then we had to go to my birthday party after. You should have seen Coach Few at my birthday party, at my 30th birthday party after we lost. So after that, I don't plan anything, after the games. I'm just, hey, you guys can all take care of it and just tell me what to do. So thanks for being patient with us. Obviously a great day for our program, a great accomplishment. But we want to keep it moving. I'm not going to make light of it and just, gloss over it, but we want to keep it moving. We want to play good Saturday at Colorado and kind of meet the standard. But the guys were great today. And you know what? First off, I want to give credit to Iowa State. And they're a pain in the ass to play against. I mean, you can't run your offensive stuff. They pressure you out of everything, and then they're so good at utilizing their strengths on offense. I thought our guys were really good defensively today, but I mean, you really have to overextend yourself to stay ahead of those guys. So TJ, is a friend of mine, and and one of the good guys in this business, and I'm proud to compete against him, and he's done a hell of a job there.
Do you think when you kind of first started your Big 12 journey, you could have won a game like this, or have you gotten tougher,
sure.
more physical, et cetera, over the course of the last 2 years?
This team's built that way, but I think the narrative that we were soft is lazy. I mean, look at our stats, look at our analytics. We've always been a great rebounding team. We've always pounded the paint. If you want to just be lazy and not pay attention and say we're soft because we're on the West Coast, be lazy. And I'd love to play against you because we know we got dudes and we love this game and I'm okay with this style of game. I have no problem with how it played out. And if you want to compete at the highest level of college basketball, you better be able to go toe-to-toe with somebody, and so that's how we're built. I think we've always been built that way.
Tell me, more is means told once you guys defensively. How much has he changed or gotten better since the beginning of the year?
I mean, he's made a huge jump. This is his second year of college, really. He had the injury last year. The injury started in the summer, and we tried to get through it, so he didn't really get a summer, 2 years ago, and then we were nursing it during the season, and then obviously his season ended. So he's just finally getting experience, and I'm really proud of him how he's impacted the game defensively. Because when I first recruited him, I thought he was going to be like a dominant offensive center, and so I really talked to him this off season about the offense is going to come, but can you make yourself into a consistent defensive force and a defensive guy on the glass, and he's done that this year.
Can you just talk a little bit about what Jaden and Tobe and Deli in particular mean to this program? How special it is to win the championship?
Well, it's great. I know we can say this day and age, things are different, but it doesn't bother me that they're different because how you treat people matters. And when you have guys like that stick around your program, it's because you have relationships with them, and there's trust on both sides of that relationship. So for me, the transfer portal and all this stuff, NIL stuff, it's just a great litmus test for how you treat people. And if you treat people right, loyal people are gonna be attracted to it, and so like-minded people are gonna want to stay together. So I'm really proud of those guys. Jaden's been awesome. I mean, he's had an incredible year. And Tobe has come so far in his 2 years. I mean, it's tremendous. I mean, the only thing I'm disappointed is I don't get to coach those guys another year. So I was lobbying for that 5th-year deal, but I think I lost. So, and then Deli, I mean, you've watched his struggle from up close this year, and I think somebody should be commended that goes through that, because we all go through tough moments in life, whether it's school or a job. This happens to be public in a place that really cares about basketball, and he hung with it, and I told you guys he was going to be at our best. He was going to be at his best when his best was needed, and that's what high character competitors do. So thank you to those guys.
The growth of Jaden from first coming to Arizona to the player he is today.
Man, we recruited Jaden obviously out of high school, and he was a good player. He had a solid freshman year at Alabama, and then he came here, and you know, we really challenged him to get better just at some of his techniques and packages, and he's done that. And listen, the staff can get some credit, but he deserves most of the credit because he's the guy who's put in the work and been receptive to and open-minded to some of these things. And what's really cool is he's kind of made him his own, and he's not a robot. He's not like a programmed player by us. I mean, he combines some of our teaching with some of his charisma and talent, and it's turned out to be a great combination.
At the beginning of the year, you guys talked about him not being on point guard list or watch list, and it seemed like he had a chip on his shoulder early on. Just how he handled
I
all
don't
of
think he had a
that.
chip on his shoulder. Guys, no one wants to be on preseason list. Who cares? That's for you guys. We actually have to go out and play and coach. So we want to be on postseason lists. That's what matters. And so, and you know, I don't know, maybe some guys that start on the list have a little head start, but I'll tell you what, consistent performance speaks way louder than a preseason list. And no one's been a more consistent performer in the country than Jaden Bradley.
You've mentioned with the crowd, hopefully it's the team that can do something special. How much does celebrating on the court kind of down the nets sort of set the intention and help the team kind of visualize what could happen here?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we talk about, you know, vision a lot. You know, what's our vision, what's our purpose, and vision is, you know, it's imagery. And, you know, we want to envision ourselves cutting down the nets. We want to envision hoisting that trophy, you know. Now, you don't get ahead of yourself, you know, then you got to dig into like, okay, well, what do we got to do to get that? What's the most important thing today? Let's lock into our process. So, but to be able to do it at home and celebrate with our fans is really cool. And, you know, when you move to a conference like the Big 12, you don't know how it's going to turn out. I mean, obviously, I was like, bring it on. But no one's, you know, predicting the future. And for us to go out and do this in our second year, I mean, I think it says a lot about Arizona basketball. And it's not about me, it's about the program. And it's about the program well before me. You know, that gave us the foundation to do this kind of stuff. So we're excited to carry on the legacy. And we want a good day off tomorrow, and we want to get back to it.
Does this mean more than the two Pac-12 titles because of the league being stronger?
I mean, it's like asking to choose your favorite kid, Bruce. You know, I mean, you know, listen, those Pac-12 ones were special. You know, because we just got it started here, and what it did, it created a foundation. You know, of what we could do as a program, and it created belief. You know, and those things matter. And so, you know, we have deep belief that we can be one of the best, you know, basketball programs in the country consistently. But we know we're gonna have to fight for that. We know talk is cheap.
How ideal is it that 7 of the next 8 days you guys will have off and the schedule to have set up?
But it's good, but now you gotta take advantage of it. You gotta take advantage of it. You can't let your guard down. You gotta rest. You gotta recover. You know, you gotta strengthen. You know, you gotta get back in the gym, and you gotta figure out, you know, okay, what do we gotta do to continue to improve? The best teams I've ever been a part of continue to get better week by week in March. You know, they don't rest on what they've done, and we always talk about it as a program. We are always going to be more excited about what lies ahead than protect what we've already accomplished. So, we're excited to play at Colorado. I mean, listen, Colorado, I went up there with a good team before and got smacked. I know how tough it is to play there. So, you know, trust me, it's got my full attention. And then, you know, obviously after that, you know, we get a few days off, and then we'll see how that Big 12 tournament shakes out. So, you know, that's kind of next on the horizon, so that'll be our focus.
Early in the first half, Iowa State had a possession where they had 3 shots, a couple close to the rim, didn't score, and then another one in the second half where they got fouled. Those kind of defensive efforts, when you're giving up the offensive rebounds but not letting that
So
sag.
basically, that's 8 of their 33 rebounds in 2 possessions. Yeah. I mean, I remember those, and yeah, they were disappointing. Thank God they kept missing, you know, and maybe they didn't score. I don't know if they ended up scoring in those possessions, but yeah, we started out the game. We weren't great on the glass. I mean, our rebound instincts and habits, you know, weren't up to it. And you know, we talked about it at a timeout, and I think we were able to flip it. But listen, Iowa State's also a really good rebounding team. I mean, you know, they know where their shots are going to come from, and they have guys who know their job is to go in there and rebound. I mean, you know, the number 23, the Buchanan kid, I mean, we obviously talked about our guys, how good of an offensive rebounder is, and he has 6. So, you know, so easier said than done, but But thank God we were able to, they didn't make some of those shots, and we were able to kind of, get more comfortable on the glass throughout the game.
Is this anything that Kansas the other night, they made a big surge, you guys answered it. Tonight, Iowa State got within 7 in the second half, and immediately you guys answered that. What does that say about you guys?
Well, what's the old cliche? It's a game of runs. There is a little truth to that. And when you're playing a good team that, if you get up on them, there's from all the thousands of basketball games I've watched over the years, there's a good likelihood they can make a run back at you. And when they make a run back at you, it's really important not to buckle, not to feel bad, not to feel guilty, that you lost the lead, because there's still game to be played. And obviously the objective once you start the game is to win the 40 minutes, not be up 16, 8 minutes into the game, and then let's say 4 minutes into the second half they go up 2. You can't, because that 18-point swing, you can't feel bad because you still got to win the game. So we talk about that all the time, just staying steady, get into the next thing, let's be in the moment. The moment's this possession, and then then let's try to create good opportunities for the next possession. We really keep it that simple.
Congratulations on your 140th win. You mentioned the former Stafford Thursday Foundation for you here at Arizona. What does it mean to you to just continue that legacy and that tradition from like Luke Wilson and Sean Miller, and in such a short amount of time you're able to just bring it back and keep Arizona at a national level?
Well, I feel fortunate, feel lucky, all those things, and I'm not good at counting big numbers. It's really hard for me to count past 1, so I keep it pretty simple. But I'm happy. I'm happy the program's having success. I'm happy for the community because when I walk around town, like when I go, every once in a while I snag a Sonoran dog over at Momo's, and I walk over there from here, and it's crazy how people are right now. I can't walk, everybody's honking and yelling at me, and so sometimes like I'll just stay in my office because you don't want to be, you don't want to go draw attention to yourself. But I'm just thankful that I get to represent this community, and I take that role seriously. I love this place, and what brings me joy is we win and everyone embracing and feeling good and smiling. That joy is really powerful.
Your thoughts on Dwayne Eversley having?
Yeah, thanks for bringing him up. Dwayne was awesome. That's as good as he's played all year. And sometimes as a freshman you see Koa. Koa didn't have a great game today statistically, but I thought he really impacted the game. He had some great defensive plays. He did a great job on Jefferson, who's a really good player. But those guys both had a little break, and you can see there's been a freshness to them. And to be honest with you, we haven't even been able to practice that hard the last couple of days, kind of ramping up for this. So Dwayne, didn't really kind of get back with us till we got back here, and just before the Kansas game. And so obviously we didn't do much of practice yesterday. So for him to come out and play like that, it's really cool. It's really cool. Dwayne's had a kind of an up and down freshman year, like a lot of freshmen have, but obviously he's incredibly talented. And for him to have that competitive character to come out and do that today, says a lot about Dwayne as a person and a competitor.
One more question.
You mentioned that you have 1 game left against Colorado. The Big 12 tournament is coming up. There is a school of thought that if you're locked into a number 1 seed, that maybe a conference tournament doesn't mean all that much. Is that a dangerous kind of mindset to get into?
I don't know. I don't overthink it. Like, if you put us in a tournament, I guess I'm a sucker for it. I'm going to try to win it. And I'm going to try to win it 1 game at a time. And it's not going to be much more complicated than that. We're not going to go to Kansas City and kick it, and so we can come back home a couple of days early. If we lose, we'll come back and we'll regroup and we'll get ready for the NCAA tournament. But we keep it pretty simple. Let's get through the Colorado game, and then once we get to the Big 12 tournament and kind of see how the bracket breaks, we're going to be ready to play. I guess we don't play till Thursday, right? So so we'll be ready to go Thursday, whoever we play against, and if we're fortunate enough to do Thursday, we'll figure out who we play Friday, and then we can keep it going. So we're excited for the opportunity, proud of what these guys have done, thankful for you guys, thankful for the community, and let's keep this thing going.